Good morning, everyone. Hope you are all well. Of course, we are here for the match reaction and player ratings to yesterday's 0-0 draw at Manchester against Manchester United at the Emirates. A bit of a boring game. But before we get into this, as you can see, my overlay has changed. And we've got a few things to address because this is beginning to piss me right off now. Yeah? It is beginning to wind me right up. Yeah, as you can see, my overlay has changed to no room for racism. Now, we are in the 21st century, and I can't believe that we're having to address this bullshit still. Marcus Rashford. He had a poor game yesterday. A very poor game, in fact, by his standards. In fact, you could go as far as saying that he was probably a 2 out of 10 in his performance. Yeah, had a chance to score, had a couple of chances to score, and he fluffed his lines. But the vile, disgusting, despicable, racist abuse that the guy has received online is a joke, and it needs to be dealt with, because this bullshit cannot continue to carry on. The guy is a footballer, and all it takes is one bad performance, and you've got fucking wankers who like to call themselves Manchester United fans abusing him online. Disgusting. And do you know what? Yeah, I commend and I bow down to Marcus Rashford. Yeah, what a role model this guy is. What a role model this guy is, because he came out with a statement after all the crap that he received online, and he said this: humanity and social media at its worst. Yes, I'm a black man and I live every day proud that I am. No one comment is going to make me feel any different. So sorry if you were looking for a strong reaction. You're just simply not going to get it here. I commend you, Marcus Rashford. Yeah? Because he could have done and said so much more. But he's standing up to it by not reacting to it. And I tell you what, if any one of us was in his position, we'd find that difficult. So I commend Marcus Rashford. And to all you racist wankers out there who want to give this guy abuse, just remember that during the lockdown, while you were all sat on your fat asses doing fuck all, claiming government money, Marcus Rashford started a campaign to feed the children. Right? This campaign came out of his own pocket, his own kind-heartedness, his own money. He doesn't have to do that, but he does. Yeah, because the guy has a heart. The guy cares. You lot, yeah, who are giving him racial abuse online, he's probably feeding half your fucking children. You bunch of wankers. I'm sorry, but I didn't come on here to rant, right? But when you see shit like that, it disgusts me. It makes me feel sick. And do you know what, right? Just when you think that that's as bad as it gets, I wake up this morning and I'm seeing post after post after post on my Twitter about something that happened last night. Yeah? Now, I'm not going to name who it is, right? Who's received the abuse. But one thing I will say is I don't know the guy personally. right? But I consider him a friend in a way, because I've been on a couple of streams with him. He's a nice guy, yeah? And the abuse that he received on a live stream yesterday is a fucking farce. And the fact that nothing was done about it either. Yeah. Now, I consider this guy a friend because he's part of the football terrace community. The football terrace community has given fans a platform to go on and have your say. And anybody who is part of that community is considered a friend to me because they gave me the opportunity to come on and have my say. They gave me the confidence to start up this channel. And the abuse that he got, and the fact that nobody defended him either, until after it was all said and done. But one thing that's good about this is we know who abused it. We know who it was. Yeah? So we can deal with this little fucking shit cunt. And I'm calling out everybody. Anybody who sees this guy, yeah, on any form of social media whatsoever, get him removed. Get him banned. Get him banned. It's as simple as that. Yeah? Disgusting, despicable behaviour. And like I said, I'm not going to name who the racial abuse was aimed at, but what I am going to say to him is we're fully behind you. Yeah? We support you. And we back you. And I hope that you're all right. Yeah? Because that... Do you know what? I'm not even going to speak on it anymore, right? Because I could go a whole stream speaking about this bollocks. Anybody who thinks it's okay to racially abuse somebody, yeah, who subscribed to my channel, unsubscribe right fucking now. Unsubscribe right now. Anyway, guys, we're here to talk about the Arsenal-Manchester United game. Let me bring up my other... Here we go. We can go back to football now. Yeah, so we're here to talk about Manchester United-Arsenal. Finished 0-0. It was a interesting 0-0, really. You know, very open game. Two teams that tried to, I would say, sit back and hit on the counter a little bit. You know, very, very tight game, very compact, full of a few good chances. You know, Manchester United especially had a couple of very good chances. So did we as well. And what it comes down to is just finishing. You know, people just I think Lacazette, you know, was very unlucky with his free kick. Hit the crossbar. Marcus Rashford should have really shot first time, but he tried to cut inside and be clever. Edison Cavani, my word, he had quite a few chances, and normally he'd be burying them, but it just wasn't going for him yesterday. And Nicolas Pepe as well. You know, I think he had a decent game. I think the only thing missing from his game yesterday was a goal. But that is the type of performance that I want to see from Nicolas Pepe week in, week out. Because we know he's got it in his locker. We just haven't seen it from him consistent basis. And now he needs to start showing that consistently. I think Granit Xhaka, you know, this guy, I don't rate him, but he was excellent yesterday. You know, who else? You know, to name a few, David Luiz as well. You know, I thought he defended really, really well. Did his job really well. You know, we was missing three key players as well. You know, Saka, Aubameyang, Tierney, three of our best players this season. Probably not Aubameyang, but you know, the other two have been arguably our best player. And you know, Aubameyang, you know, he's a goal scorer. You know, so we certainly did miss his finishing a little bit yesterday. But look, considering we had 3 players missing, considering, you know, I was quite confident that we was going to win the game. And then when the team lineups came out and I saw Bellerin at right back, no Saka, no Aubameyang, no Tierney, I'm pretty happy with the draw, to be honest with you. And that's not being defeatist either. I look at it like this: Manchester United are up there this season, and they were fighting for a title. I think that might be over now. You know, a loss to Sheffield United in the week, and obviously a draw at us won't do their title challenge any good. Especially since as Man City are now slapping teams left, right, and centre. And then, of course, Liverpool are starting to come back into the fold as well. So I think their title charge is possibly over. It's certainly been dented. But the good thing is for us, you know, we've got a tough run of fixtures coming up. Manchester United was part of that tough run of fixtures. And look, to get a point, you can't argue. That's 4 points we've taken off Manchester United this season. And, you know, that's a pretty good return. It is a pretty good return. You can't argue. We beat them at Old Trafford. We got a draw with them at the Emirates. And I'll tell you something, right? Mikel Arteta. Yeah, I'm not one of these fans who's just going to say Arteta out, Arteta out, Arteta out, no matter what. But one thing I will say is he's getting it right at the moment. I'm not saying I'm Arteta in, but he's getting it right at the moment. Now, to me, these next 5 fixtures will determine where we are and where we're going to finish this season. If we can get 4 wins out of them 5, then maybe Mikel might just get me changing my mind on him a little bit more. And look, I'll back the manager for as long as he's here. But when I say I back the manager, doesn't mean that I necessarily want him in his job, if that makes sense. So I'll support him because he's here, but it doesn't necessarily mean that I want him. And like I say, you know, for him to turn it around, because before Christmas, my word, we was losing every single game. You know, we could have gone into a game and played Forest Green Rovers and we probably still would have lost. You know, that's how poor we was. And I'll be honest, I thought he was a goner. You know, I thought the guy was going to get sacked. But for him to turn it around in the manner that he has, again, I commend him. And I just hope that this can continue. I really, really do. Yesterday's result is certainly better for us than it is for Manchester United. And yeah, I can't really say too much more. I mean, again, another player who I've got to shout out a little bit, right? And I don't like the guy. I don't rate him at all. He's been crap ever since he's been here. But at half time yesterday, Martinelli came off and Willian came on. Now, I'm not going to lie to you guys. I was tearing my hair out when I see Willian stripping off, getting ready to come on the pitch. And especially when I see that it was Martinelli that was going off for him. Now, I don't know whether Martinelli's struggling with a little bit of injury or a bit of fitness. Obviously, he's come back from a long injury layoff. And, you know, he's played 1 or 2 games. And then he picked up a knock just before the FA Cup game against Newcastle, I think it was. And, yeah, I think Mikel Arteta has realised that you don't want to overplay this guy. You don't want to give him another long layoff because we need him. So it was a sensible move in the end. But like I say, I was tearing my hair out when I see Willian coming off the bench. But I'm not going to lie to you guys. Apart from that chance that he missed, and, you know, top level player like Willian, there's no question about it. He should be doing better with that chance. It was a decent block, but I just look at it like this. Willian at Chelsea would be burying that. And he just doesn't seem to have the same energy for us. But I thought he had a decent game yesterday. I'm not going to lie to you, right? And look, I'll call these players out when they're crap, but I'll also say when they've been pretty decent. And to be fair, Willian did all right yesterday, but he needs to start doing that consistently now. There's no question about it. I'm going to get into a couple of your comments before we move on with the player ratings. Yeah, not too much more to be said about that, to be honest with you. Here we are. We got King Josh. Good morning, King Josh. How are you? Winter Surfer. Big up to you, Brandon. Big up to you, Winter Surfer. How you doing? Big up Chris as well. King Josh, do you remember me? Of course I remember you. You know, you was just spamming me with Bruno in my chat yesterday, and the guy did nothing. But there you go. Really, oh my God, that is not nice. I will not tolerate any abuse on any player, whether it is an Arsenal player or Man United player or any player. Not acceptable. 100%, Chris, it is not acceptable. After Ayling says Bruno should have been sent off. Do you know what? At the time when I saw that, I thought, this is weird. You know, has VAR not even looked at that? But apparently VAR did look at that. Now, I'm not going to blame the referee, but whoever, and I'm not going to blame the technology either, but whoever is in charge of that VAR needs to sort it out, because there needs to be some level of consistency here. Because that tackle, right, wasn't even a tackle. Bruno was nowhere near the ball. And you could see what he was doing. And he deliberately scraped his boot down Granit Xhaka's Achilles. That's a red card all day long. And he didn't get nothing. So yeah, after Ayling, I agree with you, mate. We don't want more protests, so Black Lives Matter. Lol Brandon rant. Yeah, I am ranting today, mate, because racial abuse is just disgusting. It is not acceptable. Simple as. Well said, Marcus. He's a top player, and I hope that the authorities take the necessary action against these idiots. Too right. Paul says this has to fucking stop. 100% agree with you, mate. Well done, Marcus Rashford. Spot on, Brandon. Shame on these idiots. Brandon, when will you beat Arteta in? Listen, Arteta is beginning to change my mind. Beginning to change my mind. He's got a long way to go yet. But, you know, so far, I will say, you know, I thought the guy was dead and buried. But to be honest with you, he's turned it around in recent weeks, but we've just got to see that consistently. I still think, and people might laugh at me for this, I still think we have the opportunity there to finish in the top four. I genuinely do. When you look at how the season has panned out, when you look at the fact that there's teams dropping points left, right and centre, and you look at how far off we are the top four, I think it's doable. I do think it's doable. And when you look at Unai Emery as well, and the team that he inherited compared to the team that Mikel Arteta's got, to me, Mikel Arteta has inherited a much better squad with much better players. And if Unai Emery can get us 1 point off the top four into a Europa League final, there's no reason why Mikel Arteta should not be doing the same, at least. Are you talking about a girl? No, I'm not talking about a girl. I'm not going to name who I'm talking about. Of course, you know, because look, the guy's received abuse. He's got people coming out and supporting him, but I'm sure he doesn't want this plastering all over social media. You know, I'm sure he doesn't want the attention for the wrong reasons. But like I said, I support the guy, and I'm fully behind him. Fully behind him. Random speaking facts. We must curb this racist abuse once and for all. Thank you, Chris. There you go. Paul's just said who it was. It was it was Prime, of course. Disgusting behaviour. Please, Man United and authorities take the necessary action. Yes, 100%. Brandon, do you believe in Pepe after yesterday, or are you still done with him? One thing I will say about Pepe is last week he was excellent, and yesterday he was excellent as well. The only thing that was missing from his game was a goal. And look, if he can consistently show that for the rest of the season, then again, I'll say, well done, my friend. You've changed my mind, and I'm here for you. But if he doesn't, then I would still stick by my guns and say sell him in the summer. Even Robert Pires come out and said that Nicolas Pepe doesn't look like he's suited to the Premier League. So I'm not the only one who's seeing it. I'm not the only one who's seeing it. I'll take a point. No Saka, no Abba, and no Tierney. Yes, 100%. Paul says, did that stream get deleted? Yes, it did, mate. It did, and rightly so as well. Rightly so. King Josh, good morning. Brandon, do you remember me? Yes, I do remember you, my friend. I do remember you. We are looking better, Brandon. Let's be real. Yes, we are looking better, mate. We are looking better. And like I said, I'm not one of these fans who's just going to say Arteta out and that is it. But he has a long way to go to change my mind. Now, for me, as an Arsenal fan, the minimum expectation is to finish in the top 4, and that is it. We're a big club. We should not be languishing down in 8th, 9th, 10th, accepting that. Especially when you look at the squad that we've got. Especially when you look at the fact that West Ham are currently in the top 4. Now, I don't know about you guys, but for me, we've got a better squad than West Ham. Miles better squad than West Ham. So if they can get in the top 4, there's absolutely no reason why we cannot do that. Yeah, no reason whatsoever. Yes, Cavani had chances. He did. Xhaka played well. Yes, Xhaka did play well, and Louise as well. Paul says Wan-Bissaka was immense. Do you know what, mate? Right, I was on a stream last night, and it was with all the Manchester United fans, and they didn't rate Wan-Bissaka's performance at all. They said that he just got caught out of position so much, and I kind of agree with him. He doesn't read the game very well. He's not the type of player with a great footballing brain. He loves a tackle. He's a very, very good tackler, but going forward, it doesn't really offer too much, And but yeah, if you think Wan-Bissaka was immense, of course that's your opinion. And you know more about Manchester United than me, that's for sure. I'm an Arsenal fan. I don't really tend to take too much notice of Manchester United. I like to concentrate on ourselves. Natish is in the chat. How are we doing, Natish? He says Arteta in. Not just yet, mate. Not just yet. But he's making his way there. He's making his way there. Chris says, I'm a big critic of Bellerin, Willian, Xhaka, and even Louise, but they played very well yesterday. So well done to them all. When they deserve the credit, they will get it. 100%. And Hector Bellerin is another player who I thought played pretty well yesterday. I've got to admit, before the game, I was looking at the matchups and I was thinking, oh my God. Marcus Rashford versus Hector Bellerin. This is going to be a long, long afternoon. And Man United and Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, I kind of feel like they made a mistake in putting Marcus Rashford on the right instead of the left. because I think Rashford would have give Bellerin an absolute torrid time. So I was pleased to see Paul Pogba starting on the left wing, because that was just, well, it's baffling to me. It's almost like Manchester United are trying to shoehorn certain players into their team. And yeah, Bellerin looked comfortable all game. And I'm not going to lie as well. When McTominay came off and they brought on Martial, I thought, oh, here we go. Bellerin's going to get roasted. But no, Bellerin went home yesterday evening with Marcus Rashford. No, not Marcus Rashford, with Martial in his pocket. I'm not even going to lie to you. When he went home last night, he probably emptied out his pockets and Martial was in there. You know, because that guy came on and he did absolutely nothing. Nothing. So yeah, again, Hector Bellerin. If you can show that on a consistent basis, then I'll back you. One game will not change my mind. Simple as. Even me, Brandon, but Willian at least played well for once, 100%. I agree with you there, Chris. Thoughts on Odegaard? Didn't really see too much of him yesterday. I mean, he didn't really get the ball. He looked like he was working hard, you know. I thought Smith Rowe, as hard as he worked, I think he was a little bit off yesterday, you know. His passes were a little bit loose. The ball wasn't quite sticking for him, but he did work very, very hard. And I'm kind of glad that we've got Odegaard in to back Smith Rowe up a little bit, because the kid looked knackered when he came off. There's no question about that. And yeah, Odegaard came on and he sort of repeated what Smith Rowe was doing. Again, didn't really see too much of the ball. But it'll be interesting to see what this guy can do over the next couple of weeks, that is for sure. Big up yourself, Af Daly. Chris says, I'm a big critic of Arteta and I want him out, but he will still be the manager by the end of the season. Arteta will get the sack next season if Arsenal don't sustain a title challenge. Pardon me. I don't know about that. I'm not sure. I mean, the board, they back this guy, you know, for one reason or another, because they kept him here even after that dreadful run of form. And look, the board back him, and I think he's going to be here for a longer time than what we as fans might want, you know, if things start to go wrong. But we'll wait and see. We'll wait and see. Can you see something positive in Arteta, or will you always be Arteta out? I think I've already answered that one, Afdalen. I'm seeing positive things. I'm seeing positive things. But in order for him to change my mind, I've said it. Arsenal's minimum expectation is Champions League football. If he can do that and get us that, then I'll back him. But until then, for now, it is Arteta out, and we'll see at the end of the season. That's how I feel about it. Ken's in the chat. How you doing, Ken? Hi, Brandon. Big up yourself because you're doing bits out here. Well done. Thank you very much, Ken. Much appreciated. Because I don't think that we will qualify for next season's Europa League. I don't know. I mean, we'll see. We'll see. Yes, I was very surprised to see Marcus playing on the right. 100%. Same here. Af Daling says Leno, Bellerin, Louise, Holding or Gabriel, Tierney, Partey, Xhaka, Pepe or Aubameyang, Smith Rowe, Odegaard, Saka, Laka. This should be our team. Yeah, I would agree with that. I would agree with that 100%. So let's get into some of these player ratings. Get your player ratings in the comment section as well, guys. And of course, we'll start with goalkeeper Bernd Leno. Listen, this guy, again, in recent weeks, he's been very, very good. And what impressed me yesterday, right, was he made an excellent save from a Manchester United corner that sort of came out to the edge of the box to Fred. And I'll tell you now, that shot might not have had any power on it, or a lot of power, but it was going in the top corner. And to pull off a magnificent save like that just shows you how much of a good shot stopper this guy is. And then not only that, the Marcus Rashford chance, you think he's going to bury it. He sort of takes his time with it, but the way Leno came out and smothered him, to stop him from getting the shot off, again, that was excellent goalkeeping by him yesterday. And you know what? Yeah, I'm going to give him a 7 for yesterday. I'm only giving him a 7 because I feel like he didn't have an awful lot to do, but what he did do, he did well. It's not like he was like an outstanding or had an outstanding performance where he was making save after save after save after save, but he was very good yesterday. There's no question about that. Moving on to right back, Hector Bellerin. Now, you guys all know how I feel about Hector Bellerin, but yesterday he was very good, very good. Defensive wise, especially, going forward, didn't really offer too much. He put one decent cross into the box, which fell to Willian, and Willian should have buried it. But aside from that, like going forward, didn't really offer too much, but defensively was excellent. Like I say, Martial came on. I didn't see the guy throughout the entire game, Bellerin dealt with him very, very well. And the same for Paul Pogba as well. Until Paul Pogba moved into that midfield, he was anonymous in the game. And a lot of that was down to Hector Bellerin. So again, Hector Bellerin gets a 7 for me. No question about it. Moving on to our centre-back pairing, we've gone with Rob Holding. Now, I'm not going to lie, right? When this guy signed the new contract, I thought, oh, for fuck's sake, what are we doing giving this guy a new contract? He's not good enough. But I tell you what, since he signed that new contract, he's been exceptional. He's been exceptional. And I still feel like we need better than him in the long run. There's no question about that. But again, yesterday, very, very good. I feel like he was probably, I don't know. I think David Luiz was probably the better of the two centre backs. But again, we didn't concede, They dealt with Cavani very well, apart from the opportunities that he had, which he should have put away, which were basically put on a plate for him. Cavani didn't cause us too much problems at all. And David Luiz and Holding dealt with him very well. So again, Rob Holding gets a 7 for me. Moving on to David Luiz. He was excellent. Excellent yesterday. Defensive work, excellent. Absolutely excellent. When Man United had their free kick on the edge of the box, and he sort of got in the way of it in the wall, and the celebration, like it was almost like he just scored a goal. The celebration and the fact that he managed to get that and stop that from going goal bound. There's only one fault in his game yesterday that I want to pick up on him. And that was for a chance it was sort of a half chance for Marcus Rashford. I mean, Martinelli did exceptionally well to cut it out. But there was a point where Luiz got caught ball watching, and he got dragged in to a position where he shouldn't have been, and it left Marcus Rashford open. And the ball from Martial into Rashford was on a plate, and we was just lucky that Martinelli was aware to the danger and managed to get it away, because otherwise I do think that Rashford probably would have finished that. So that was the only one fault to his game yesterday. But apart from that, You know, absolutely exceptional. And like I say, I think he was the better centre back of the two overall. So I'll give David Luiz an 8. Moving on to our left back yesterday, Cedric. What can I say? This guy, again, I thought he was okay yesterday. I don't think he was that great. Didn't really offer too much going forward, but his defensive work was very good. And like I say, Marcus Rashford was not really in the game. Although Cedric did get caught out a couple of times, positional wise, you know, especially when Manchester United were on the break. And a lot of the time he was the one caught out of position, and he was the one making recovery runs to try and get back, which shows that his positional sense wasn't that great yesterday. So I'll give Cedric a 6. Moving on to the midfield, we're going to go with Granit Xhaka. Exceptional, very, very good yesterday. Very good. There's no, you know, walking about it. Yeah, because I don't rate the guy, but at the end of the day, he was exceptional again yesterday. Very, very good. I thought he sort of took control of that midfield. You know, a lot of the good things that we was doing was coming from Granit Xhaka. He made some very, very nice, precise diagonal balls as well. Some decent passes in and around. I just kind of feel like the only thing that's a big issue with the guy is he's so left-footed that he has to have the ball on his left foot. If he's on his right, then he needs an extra couple of touches, and that's what puts him in trouble. But I've said for a while, you know, while he's playing next to Thomas Partey, he looks so much better because he doesn't have the responsibility of having to do all the defensive work. He knows that Thomas Partey will do that. And like I say, yesterday I thought he was brilliant, and I'm going to have to give him an 8. Moving on to, of course, Thomas Partey. I thought that was one of his worst games in an Arsenal shirt. I'm not going to lie. Yeah, nothing was really sticking for him yesterday. He made 1 or 2 decent tackles and a good run with the ball. Manchester United looked frightened of him. I'm not going to lie. Whenever this guy picked the ball up and ran at them, they looked frightened. And it's just a shame that he can't shoot, or he didn't have his shooting boots on yesterday, because there was an opportunity where he picked it up in our half and ran all the way to Manchester United's box, and their defence was just backing off. But his shot went closer to the corner flag. I kind of feel like, you know, he hasn't played an awful lot of football. He was probably, you know, tired, and stuff like that. And we will see better performances from him. But by his standards, yesterday wasn't too great. So I'm going to give him a 5. Moving on to our, where is he? Our left winger to start the game, Martinelli. Again, I thought yesterday wasn't one of his greatest performances. He pressed the ball well, like he always does. He works very, very hard. And look, that clearance that he made was exceptional. For him to read that danger was exceptional. But aside from that, it didn't really offer us too much, if we're being real, you know. But again, he's just come back from a long injury layoff. He's played 1 or 2 games. He picked up another knock. You can see that we're trying to ease him back in. And look, he looked out on his feet before half time. So you can see that he's not quite there yet. And he's not quite ready to play full games. And he's not quite at his usual level. So again, Martinelli for me gets a 5. Moving on to the right-hand side / left-hand side, Nicolas Pepe. Where's this Nicolas Pepe been? Where's he been? He's been at Arsenal for a year and a half now, and we are only just starting to see the real Nicolas Pepe turn up. He was excellent last week against Southampton, and he was very good against Manchester United again yesterday. He worked so hard, so hard. And the thing that worried me a little bit was Lacazette. In the first 20 minutes of the game, Lacazette looked like he was going to get isolated by the defensive midfielders and the defenders of Manchester United. But Nicolas Pepe worked his absolute socks off to try and get up there and support Lacazette. And this is the Nicolas Pepe that I want to see week in, week out. Because the guy looked frightening yesterday. He spun up Luke Shaw. No end, you know. Their defenders was frightened of this guy. And you start to see the skill that he has as well. And the close ball control as well is exceptional. The only thing that was missing from his game yesterday was a goal. And unfortunately, he had one or two opportunities. He just skewed them wide. We just need to start seeing this guy do this on a regular basis. And I think the goals and the assists will come. But yeah, very impressive yesterday. And I expect him to be starting next week as well, based off the two performances that he's just played. So Nicolas Pepe, for me, gets an 8. Moving on to, of course, the striker yesterday, Lacazette. Now, like I said, first 20 minutes or so, I was worried that the guy was going to get isolated. But again, he worked very, very, very hard. He did what he always does. Links the play very well, holds the ball up very well. And I'm telling you, he was just a nuisance, an absolute nuisance yesterday for that Manchester United back line and anybody who was trying to win the ball against him. You know, he sticks his ass into players. There's a lot of controversy about all of that. What I would say is, Arsenal fans, if you've got the energy for Harry Kane, because Harry Kane does the same thing, and you should keep the same energy for Alexander Lacazette. Just because he's our player doesn't mean it's any different. But for me, yeah, what Harry Kane does and what Lacazette does isn't an issue. Yeah, all they're doing is just standing their ground. That is it, you know. And yes, they tend to stick their asses into players and stuff like that. And it can be quite dangerous. But at the end of the day, you stand your ground, you know. We'd all be moaning if he didn't do that, if he just, you know, let the other player jump and win the header. And like I say, he was a nuisance yesterday. Harry Maguire had to foul him on a regular just to get a hold of him. And yeah, very impressed with Lacazette yesterday. Unfortunately, he went off with what looks like a little bit of an injury towards the end. But yeah, very good for me yesterday. And I think, again, the only thing that was missing from his game was a goal. His free kick was exceptional, an inch lower, and that was in. But aside from that, very good from Lacazette, and he gets a 7 for me. Moving on to the substitutes. Willian. Now, you guys all know this guy as the Chelsea agent, because that's what I call him, the Chelsea agent. But he wasn't a Chelsea agent as such yesterday. I thought he did all right. He came on. I was tearing my hair out because I thought, oh, why are we persistent with this guy? Seriously. But aside from the chance that, let's be real, he should be burying that. Like I said earlier, if he was at Chelsea, he would have buried that. The Willian from Chelsea would have buried that. The Willian from Shakhtar Donetsk would have buried that. But it just doesn't seem to be going for him at the moment. And it's looking more and more like he's came here for a payday. But what I will say is yesterday, I thought he was very good. You know, I thought he was very good. And I thought he added a little bit more balance to our team as well. Yeah. Again, I would say, you know, he wasn't as good as certain players like Lacazette and stuff like that. But what he did do, he did it all right, you know. And like I say, the only thing that's going to mark him down is the fact that he should have been burying that chance. There's no question about it. So for Willian, he gets a 6. He would have got a 7 if I hadn't have if he had buried that chance. In fact, he would have got an 8. But a player of that quality, you expect him to be burying that. I'm trying to think who else came on now. Obviously, we know the love child came on for the last couple of minutes, but again, you didn't see too much of him at all. So you just got to give him a standard 5. Who else came on, guys? Let me know in the comments section. I can't think now. Did anybody else come on, or was that it? I think that might have been it, you know. Oh, Odegaard, of course. Odegaard came on as well for Emil Smith Rowe. Oh, we haven't even done Emil Smith Rowe. What am I doing? My word. What am I doing? Emil Smith Rowe. Thought he was half decent. He worked very, very hard. But certain parts of his play yesterday, it just wasn't sticking for him. You know, very loose with some of his passes. But you can see what he brings to the team. He is the link between defence and attack. And again, the only thing that I would say is it's probably one of his worst performances in an Arsenal shirt so far this season. But you will get that. He is a young player and he will show a level of consistency, but then he will fall off 1 or 2 games because he's young and he's still learning. Well, what I would say is he worked very hard yesterday. So again, for me, he gets a 6 for yesterday. And then, of course, Odegaard came on, made a bit of a cameo appearance. And again, didn't see too much of him. He picked up the ball once or twice. But, you know, the time that he came on was the time that we were sort of sitting back and trying to, you know, hit Manchester United on the counter. But again, he worked very hard, tried to press from the front. And he wasn't too bad either. So again, I can't really give him any more than probably a 6. And I'm going to change Smith Rowe to a 7. Actually, I'm going to change Smith Rowe to a 7. Yeah, and that's it. And then of course the manager. Look, I'm a big critic of this guy. You all know this, but considering we had 3 key players missing yesterday, considering as well, you know, that the way we set up against Manchester United as well, and the fact that we kept another clean sheet, I'm going to give Mikel Arteta an 8. I'm going to give Mikel Arteta an 8. I thought his tactics were spot on yesterday, and we was unlucky not to win the game. And considering we was missing 3 players, the performance that he got out of the players was very good. And yeah, you can't give him any less than an 8. So yeah, 8 for me for Mikel Arteta. And there we go, guys. That is it. I'm going to get into a few of your comments before I fuck off. But big up to everybody who's been watching. Make sure you're smashing likes on the video as well. I appreciate you all coming here to view the content. Make sure you keep sharing it, especially the bit at the beginning about racism, because, mate, this shit needs to be cut out. There's no question about that. Here we go. Ken says Leno gets an 8 for me. Afdaling agrees with an 8. That's fair. What a save that was. Yeah, Bellerin 6 and 7s for Ken and Afdaling. Natish says I was on a live stream yesterday and said I was willing to put money on the fact that Willian would be Arteta's first sub right before the halftime whistle, and guess who came on at halftime? Yeah, he does like a bit of Willian, but to be fair, Willian did do all right yesterday. Ken says you are too generous with Bellerin. He dropped a 6 out of 10. Okay, fair enough. Rat Army assemble. Louise 9. I think a 9 is probably too much. I do think a 9 is probably too much. David Luiz bossed it last night. I love the guy. Fair enough. Fair enough. Chris says these are mine. Leno 7, Cedric 5, Luiz 8, Holding 5, Bellerin 7, Xhaka 7, Partey 5, Martinelli 6, Emil Smith Rowe 6, Pepe 7, and Lacazette 6. Fair play, fair play. We've got Smart Cookie here in the house as well. I think the main problem with Xhaka is we never what Xhaka we're going to get on the day. He can be really good and equally as poor. That is true. That is true. He doesn't really show a level of consistency. I completely agree with you on that one. Partey was pretty poor yesterday. Yes, I agree. I agree. Partey had an off day. I thought Pepe did quite well. Yes, I agree with you on that one as well. Had Willian scored yesterday, I'd change my view on him. He didn't, so he's still poo. Yeah, I don't know whether I'll change my view on him just yet. I still don't rate the guy completely. He's another player who needs to show a level of consistency. Eddie isn't good enough. I agree with you. I forgot about Eddie. Standard 5. There you go. It's easy to forget about Eddie Nketiah. I thought ESR was up against a better opposition this game, so it's understandable his performance took a slight dip. I agree with you as well. Chris says Arteta gets a 6. Maybe a 6 for Arteta is being harsh. He might deserve more. Ken says, let's pump up the likes. Pump them likes up, boys and girls. Arteta gets a 6. -1 for Willian equals 5. And Chris, I have shared your channel on Facebook and Reddit. Big up to you, Chris. And of course, big up to everybody who's been watching. I appreciate you guys coming to watch my channel. Love talking to you guys. Makes my day 100%. And yeah, big up yourselves. Of course, I don't think we've got a game during the week, but I am bringing a new show to the channel where we are going to be reviewing every single Premier League game at the weekend. I'm hoping to get African Guna on for that. I've got to have a word with him yet. But we will be doing a new show where we review every single Premier League game over the weekend. So make sure you come and tune in for that, because that should be good. You know, it's nice to not just talk about Arsenal. We can talk about every single team and what's going on at the moment as well. And yeah, make sure you come and tune in for that. I'm hoping to maybe do that on Wednesday. Yeah, I think Wednesday, because then I'll do my match preview on Friday for the Wolves game. And yeah, big up to you guys. Love to you all. And I'll see you soon.